welcome to another special episode of the Comics Brew and Chew podcast, the Quarantine Edition.
Is it special because we're not making physical contact?
Nobody on the couch ever makes physical contact. And, yes, it's because we are recording from separate locations. This is the third episode of Chewing the Fat. The second one will ever be known as the Lost episode, because we don't know where we put it.
Because we tried this last week and it broke.
No, because we had it, and then I put it down, and I don't know where it went, so that's why it's lost.
Fred, stop losing your audio.
No, it's my fault. So this week, we're just going to talk about stuff, because yesterday I was like, we should record stuff, and everybody went, okay. So we don't have any books.
Today's episode is about stuff.
I don't even know if we have topics, because last week we kind of had topics, and then we talked about them, and then I lost it all. So today is just going to be like, whatever, while this works. So,
it's working. I'm
works.
watching the numbers.
Ooh, we have numbers, which is more we can say than for this channel.
We have a channel?
Ew.
Wow. So Fred, what do you want to talk about?
No, because I think my dog's about to bust in this room. I'm not quite sure.
No, you're the ringleader.
Hello. I am the ringleader. But I also have a dog, so I have to kick her out at some point. Unless she just gets up on her bed. Get up on the bed.
So how's everybody enjoying their quarantines?
I hate it. Because it's not quarantine.
Yeah, it's partial quarantine for you guys.
Partial.
Not even
me
partial.
Me and Fred are what they're now called essential employees. So we're out in the thick of it. I mean, not the thick. The like healthcare workers and first responders. I'd say they are in the thick of it. But working in a
We are on
I don't know.
We are on the last C.
Yeah.
And,
But supermarket workers, you know, we're out there.
I work at a
We
store.
are on,
I'm
like-
laid off.
Tom's laid off. Again.
Doing a little bit of work from home. Love it. So has anyone read any comics lately?
I mean, I started.
No.
No.
What did you start, Amanda?
I started Bitch Planet, but I haven't finished it.
And you just read some Cloak and Dagger, right?
Yes. I love Cloak and Dagger. Although I don't
Read
understand
one
why.
volume of Bitch Planet.
What? What?
I read one volume of Bitch Planet.
That's all I've read.
That's Kelly Sue DeConnick, right?
Yes.
Of
I think I gave
Captain
Amanda that
Marvel
volume.
fame.
You did.
I cleaned my room yesterday, and in the process have 3 massive stacks of Fred's comics, and that's what's taking up the brunt of room that I had to clean. Yeah, I have 3 massive stacks of Fred comic books in my room, plus all of my film equipment, and that's taken up the entirety of my floor right now.
You think my floor looks because I have 100% of my books in my room.
Yeah, so when do you want these things back, Fred?
I don't know, I have to go through everything you guys have to figure out what I, gave you and what I lent you.
Right, because that's all a merge. It's like, if you've seen the movie The Thing, and it's like this massive heap of flesh, only just imagine instead of flesh, it's comic books, and that's what those piles look like. Some of
I
it...
think I have it. I
What's
purged
that?
Some of it
John's
is for
house
stuff
once
that
with my
you-
books.
Some of it is stuff that you're trying to pawn off, and I can't tell you what's what. I'm gonna guess anything with Thor in the title is yours.
I mean,
100%.
luckily, I make sure Fred goes through the books he gives me whenever I see, or whenever he's over. I'm like, here, Fred, look through this. And he'll be like, okay, this, and then the rest is yours.
Yeah, see, I don't know, it's been growing and growing, and I think it's alive now.
Might be.
I'm surprised. Has that ever been? I feel like that's got to be in some comic book somewhere. It's like a sentient stash of books.
It should be.
If it hasn't been, we should make it.
Totally. Hey, I'm learning
It
to
gets
draw.
bigger and bigger.
We're getting somewhere.
Draw this then.
I've,
Animate it.
I've learned the English language before, so it's possible I could write, maybe.
You know English?
And a little bit of Spanish.
Muy pequeño.
Did you say good morning to the assistant manager at work? That's about it.
What's the word for nose and brown? I can't think of those.
I don't know either, but it's funny because earlier I told him we had cookies in the back room, and then he started going off in Spanish, and I was like, yo, they're just over there. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I have to learn kissing.
Like, he knows I can't speak Spanish, so he just goes full in on it.
Has anyone watched any comic book-based adaptations recently, like movies or TV or...
John and I have.
What you guys been watching?
We watched Red Son, not together.
Because
Oh,
we're-
the animated Superman. You gave me the code for that. I need to watch it.
Did give me the code for that.
Oh, that's what was on movies anyway.
Yeah, by the way, the movies anywhere are kind of leeching off of. That's Fred's movie on there.
What the did you just say to me?
I said you're leeching off of it.
Hey Tom,
It's okay.
what's that check? Tom, what's that check you're getting from the government every week? What is that?
I'm not denying leeching
No. Wait a second. Excuse me. I can't even hit you for the next month.
No, you could.
Just stop by and drop some stuff off. I'll do it when I show up.
Please.
Unbelievable.
It's okay, I'm leeching off the Hulu account.
Yeah, so am I.
Okay, that's not even yours.
I pay for Hulu and Disney Plus.
I pay-
I'm the sucker in my family.
But see,
I don't
here's
have
the thing.
Hulu or Disney
I
Plus.
buy all of everything physically, and then I put all of my digital codes in Voodoo and Movies Anywhere, and I lend out the Voodoo and Movies Anywhere code. In turn, I leech off of people's streaming.
You know, though, you would think that after almost 4 years, it wouldn't be leeching off of.
I'm not calling you leeching. I'm saying other people.
Other people in this chat who are using Tom's Movies Anywhere, which is nobody but Amanda.
What did?
You guys don't have it? I know Noah has it.
Tom, do
I
me a
have my
favor.
own Movies Anywhere, Tom.
Just go dig yourself a
Yeah,
hole
but
in the
everyone has
backyard.
different stuff on theirs.
Can't believe we went
Tom,
from the comics
Tom.
brew and shoot to the couples therapy podcast in like 5 minutes.
Couples
Doesn't that happen
brews
every
and
time?
couples brews and issues. But brew spelled B-R-U-I-S-E. Domestic abuse.
This is
not
actually
This
is
a
an
cry
intervention?
for help. This is a cry for help
Yeah, from Amanda.
Yep.
from me.
Oh, I was
What are you
gonna
talking about?
I was gonna say we did this remotely because we know Amanda would go after Tom if we were doing this in person.
Once we're back in person, I demand a separate couch from her.
Well, that's
That's in my
perfectly fine
contract.
with me.
What else? I know. Well, me and Fred watched Superman Red Son.
And how was
It's
that?
back. I liked it. It definitely a DC movie because it was like it wraps up. They spend a lot of time on stupid, I don't know, things that don't really matter to the plot overall. And then they have to the third act is like whiplash because all of a sudden they have so much to deal with and figure out, and only because it's an animated movie, maybe 10-15 minutes to do it. So it kind of wraps itself up really quickly, in the worst, not the worst way possible, but it is very rushed.
The movie doesn't even go all the way with how the comic book ends because there's the ending in the movie, which is the first ending for the book, and then there's a 3-page add-on for the actual comic that goes even further onto what happens, and it's people weren't sure where the movie was going to end it.
I think the last one of those animated movies I watched was the Batman Ninja one when Fred brought that up.
Oh, that was terrible.
It was garbage.
Yeah.
Hey, you know-
Wasn't he a big bat robot that could turn into actual bats? Am I remembering that correctly?
All I remember was the monkeys.
Before Batman Ninja, I watched Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked about the Gotham by Gaslight on one of our earliest podcast episodes. I didn't like that nearly as much as I liked the comic.
Yeah, I think I like. If I remember correctly, I think I liked. I don't remember which one I liked more, but I did like one of them a hell of. And I also recently rewatched the entire MCU in chronological order because I had a week to kill.
I haven't been watching a ton of comic book movies lately because I've been just catching up on a bunch of other stuff I haven't seen. I know they dropped a lot of Bong Joon-ho's films on Hulu, so I watched the ones of those that I hadn't seen. But I did rewatch the Guardians movies recently, and I watched Doctor Strange again. Doctor Strange grows on me every single time I watch it, and it's just super interesting to me.
I've been watching a lot of like Ultraman and Power Rangers because I'm that kind of guy.
What Ultraman?
Ultraman Orb on Crunchyroll because that is the only streaming service I pay for.
Yep. Ultraman. Very hyped for Shin Ultraman.
Excited for the Ultraman comic book.
Yeah, if it ever comes out.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I just finished.
I mean, there's pictures from Shin Ultraman.
I'll have to check that out.
I just finished watching
Amanda,
Iron
you're-
Man. Oh my god, Tom!
I was trying to talk to you.
What do you
I'm going
want?
home. I'm silencing you speak.
No, what were you gonna say this time?
I was gonna ask you. Your MCU rewatch that you're doing currently, you're doing chronological order, right?
Yes. Don't worry, you gave me the list. Like I didn't know it.
The only time I had to consult an online list was I wasn't quite sure how Doctor Strange and Black Panther and Spider-Man all together, and then Austin.
With Doctor Strange is weird because you could watch it kind of anywhere just because it's spread over the course of like a year. But Panther is like what, a week after Civil War, and then I think Spider-Man is like 6 months.
Look, it starts right. Homecoming starts right as Civil War ends.
But then right after that scene, it's like a 6-month jump, I think.
Yeah. You know, you could if you had two different ways to watch stuff, say by leeching off someone's movies anyway, and then Disney Plus, you could theoretically start Ant-Man and the Wasp and Infinity War and have this like everything match up.
The snap just go. But then you'd also have to overlap the start of Endgame with the end of Infinity War. So Hawkeye's snapping stuff would also happen at the same time.
Fake Hawkeye.
The best Hawkeye, right, Amanda?
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye. He's the caulk gun.
Friggin'
A
runner.
draft. It's not
These
like
kids put
Nemesis.
mayo on hot dogs. Gotta love it.
That sounds
Or
so
his wife or
disgusting.
someone.
Oh, I used to
mayo
know
in
someone who
general
ate.
is just kind of disgusting.
I used to know someone who ate mayo on hot dogs.
Seriously?
That's terrible, and they should feel terrible.
I mean, I was curious. I was like, all right, let's give it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's not terrible, but I actually just prefer mustard.
Yeah, I'll do either mustard or like ketchup, mustard, relish. If I'm doing, I could do just mustard or a bunch.
I don't like hot dogs.
I'm not really a fan of hot dogs, but I don't know. I've recently turned turned a cheek towards the hell is that stuff? Ketchup. Don't like it anymore, man. That shit's gross.
Yep.
I like it, but it has I use it on like burgers, hot dogs, fries, but that's really it. There's some people that I know that put it on like
here we go.
chicken and turkey, and that upsets me.
Oh God, ketchup on turkey?
Thanksgiving dinner, yes.
Yeah, you ruined Thanksgiving dinner.
It needs
Oh, boy.
flavor.
Fred, you wanna step out for a minute?
Hey, John, you want to go jump on COD and we'll let these two talk this out?
Yeah. We'll just bother.
We haven't even seen each other in a month. And we're fighting like this.
Hey, no, dude. I won $30 on a scratch ticket today.
Hey,
Awesome.
happy birthday.
50 to get it.
How much
but
was the scratch ticket?
a 10.
Okay, not bad.
And I did win another ticket beforehand. I think I won enough back on a $10 scratcher to get another $10 scratcher. And off that I won 30. I think. It was a while ago. And by a while ago I mean like 4 hours.
So is Ultraman Orb one of the more recent Ultraman series, or?
It's the most current one that Crunchyroll has.
Okay.
Orb, I want to say, it might be like, I want to say 07.
And is Orb, like, giant monster, like, kaiju type stuff, or is it more, like, human-based superhero stuff?
Oh, wow, Orb is very recent. I'm sorry, Orb is 2016.
I'll be right back.
Thought it was, but I didn't want to correct you because I'm like, it could be 2016, like, localized, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, earlier than that, Japanese. Orb is, it's an Ultraman who is the Giant of Light, who can't access his full powers because of something that happened in his past. So he has to borrow the powers of two previous Ultramen in order to, like, grow to Ultraman. And he's a fusion of different ones. In the first couple episodes, he fights different kaiju, and he finds the powers of other Ultramen inside of them, like powering them. So he gets like these trading card book and things. And then for like the next like 10 episodes, he only uses those cards, and then a couple others are introduced when one of the king monsters is like summoned. Then they find out that one of the Ultramen was using his power to suppress it, and there's a dark Ultraman whose power is used to awaken it, and he gets both cards and turns into another Ultraman using that. And then he gets this weird sword that allows him to fuse all his powers together, but it's clearly just an ad for a toy. As most of those series are.
Ultraman in a nutshell.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same thing. Like
Ultraman.
Like I'm watching some Power Ranger series, and like you can see like when they introduce stuff, like where the toy is, and I'm like, I got you. But like taking out like that cynical like I've grown up aspect, like some of these series have like decent stories and like plots behind them, or at least like little nods to stuff.
I never, like, even as a kid, I never cared for Power Rangers. But Godzilla and Gamera and all of the, you know, Japanese kaiju stuff has always been big for me. So Ultraman, I feel like I would really like.
Like, I grew up with Power Rangers. I was into it as a kid. The first Rhode Island Comic Con I went to was to go meet one of the Power Rangers, actually. But
Fred, I only go for the comic creators. Went to go see a Power Ranger.
It was the original Green and White Ranger. The original Green and White Ranger, and my cousin had given me a toy as a kid that he had played with of the White Ranger's Megazord, and he was there, and I wanted to get it signed because that toy meant a lot to me, and I thought it would be cool to get it signed by him. Like, no resale value, no nothing, like the toys, like missing parts and everything. But I was like, just a sentimental value, and actually, one of the guys I met standing in line waiting for him, I've been talking to him ever since, and this was like probably 5-6 years ago. We've just talked back and forth over usually Instagram.
Oh, cool.
And actually, he has a daughter now who shares a birthday with me, which is cool. So that's like easy to remember. But so like I've always grown up with Power Rangers. I was talking to John about this last night. For a while, I kind of fell off of it, like between like being busy on Saturdays with like sports and stuff, and just like kind of being like too smart and too cool for it. And then like lately, I've gotten back into it. I kind of got back into it during one of the anniversary seasons because they were bringing back a bunch of Rangers from like when I was a kid, and then like them putting it on services like Netflix and like Apple has all the seasons you can buy on like Apple TV, like TV shows on like the Apple Store. I started watching some of the older seasons that I watched and really liked as a kid, and now I'm moving on to some of the seasons that seem cool that I never watched. Like I'm watching Mystic Force, which actually has like a lot of cooler stuff in it that I understand better now than I probably would have as a kid, which is nice. But like I keep trying to find like sites that have like other series like in the same genre as Power Rangers, like the original like Super Sentai series from Japan, where like the storylines are actually aimed at like a more mature audience, not like adults, but like pre to like mid teens, and then like Kamen Rider and like the other Ultraman series because Crunchyroll only has like 3 or 4 series. So like I've been trying to get more into that stuff.
Rider's real big in Japan. I don't know much about it, but I see it all over the place.
Is that the big, like, bug-looking guy?
Yeah.
Watch
They do
one
like a lot of
series.
like, motorcycles, right?
Yeah. And like they all have like a rider kick, which is cool. Like that's their trademark. But like I've only watched one series a little bit because my buddy in college gave me a link to a website to use. But like I watched a video the other day that just popped up on YouTube for me. Suggest like ranking different series, and there were a few cool plot synopsis to a few series that sounded really interesting. Like one of them where like the guy's costume is like a base costume, and he like finds different ghosts, and the ghosts form the rest of the costume and give him different powers. And there's one where like they tried this magic ritual, and instead of like summoning whatever they're supposed to, they created like all these artifacts to like grant powers to people, and there are different riders out there that use these different magic powers. Then the main rider's costume changes depending on what power he's using. It's a lot of like just costume changes and cool shit like that.
Have you ever heard of a series called Zone Fighter?
Oh, that was the Toho one, right?
That was the Toho.
Didn't they use Godzilla, or at least the Godzilla suit, in it a couple times?
Yeah, I believe they used Godzilla made a couple, maybe 1 or 2 guest appearances, and he fought like they also used monsters from Godzilla's like Rogues Gallery. They used Gigan and Ghidorah, and I think Godzilla shows up in 2 episodes.
Okay.
I think the thing I like about a lot of those series, those old Tokatsu, like hero transforms, fights the monsters, is like they would kind of like sell suits to each other and reuse suits, and like they're like, oh, you know, Toho will sell Toei a suit, and then Toei will sell Kadokawa a suit.
Toei
start
is
to see,
Gamera, right?
Yeah, among other things. Well, no, Toei owns Gamera now. Toei was Daiei back.
Oh, okay.
But you start to see like in some of the older films, you'll be like, oh, that's totally like this particular monster costume, just with a different head or with like, you know, you see it quite a bit. One of the monsters Fred sent me from Orb totally looks like they used the Godzilla costume as a basis, but I'm not sure that's the case since it's so it was so many years afterwards, and I'm pretty sure that suit like deteriorated or was damaged in a fire, so I'm not sure it could be that.
It was the Orochi one, right?
Yeah, that like weird red guy. It looked like the 2001 Godzilla suit, but I'm pretty sure that one's either on display or like damaged or something.
2001 is GMK, right?
Yeah.
I love that look.
It was actually in the current season of Power Rangers that they're doing right now. I think Power Rangers went from being totally owned to co-owned by Saban and Bandai Namco, I think. So I think Bandai does something
now.
now.
It's not a totally owned thing anymore. I know they lost a lot of money on that movie. Movie.
One of the bad guys is like this weird robot. Like the whole season has like robot villains versus like a natural, like animal inspired Rangers. But one of the villains looks like the Gundam Tallgeese from Gundam Wing, and I was like, is that because like Bandai's doing this now? They can do that? Is that a joke? Like, but the hardest thing is trying to find his name because they only mention it like once in the episode. But like, it just looks like a really like well-made cosplay of a Tallgeese, minus the huge cannon.
I'm honestly surprised that with the success of Power Rangers um, here in the States, that Marvel and DC never, like, were never able to, like, not emulate, but, like, cash in.
Mm.
There's
At least not to
just
my knowledge. Like, I know there's,
Justice League Power Rangers.
what's the Kaiju Kid or something?
Kid Kaiju from Marvel.
Kid Kaiju, yeah. But, like, they never had, like, a team that all have, like, the same suits and fight monsters.
I'm sorry, John. Have you heard of the New Warriors that is coming out soon?
Oh God.
No.
Then they got a couple weeks ago. No, but they have like very similar looking costumes, and they're just like this ragtag group of teens with attitude.
Oh, I thought they were called something else.
Yeah. No, they're the New Warriors.
They're terrifying.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about that, did we?
Oh, that's
the
the
last
New
episode.
Warriors. Yeah. No. Yeah, I get and appreciate what they're going for with that, but it feels
It feels wrong. It feels like it's just there for the sake to make a buck off of it. Like they don't care about the message or the importance.
With the names that they gave some of them, it almost feels like more of a, like I get that it's trying there, but it's almost coming across as more of a mockery.
Yep.
Yeah, like they use the name
Snowflake.
It's like no one would use that name. Sorry.
What is it? Snowflake and Safe Space?
Yeah, Snowflake and Safe
Jeez.
Space.
There's a couple more too.
That's the only two I can think of.
There was the one that was it's like the kid Morbius. B positive or whatever.
Mm.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Which clearly that one's only there to sell Morbius movie tickets. Official MCU movie, Morbius.
That's something we haven't chewed the fat on either.
That ending of that trailer just fried my brain.
Oh, it's only a mini. Oh, never mind. Yeah, it's a mini run for
New Warriors.
The new
Who's
Warriors.
doing it?
5 issues.
Who's doing it?
What's up?
Who's doing it?
I will tell you in a second. I am. If this article wants to minimize, so I can read the whole fucking thing. Oh, I'm sorry. The characters are Trailblazer, Screen Time, B Negative, Snowflake, and Safe Space.
I remember Screen Time. His powers are that he had internet pills and he Steam.
Yeah. So the writer's last name is Kibblesmith. And I don't know what else he's worked on.
Huh.
Again, I
in this
really
article,
appreciate and I get the idea behind it, but it just seems very misguided in its execution.
It's like someone at Marvel, or maybe even higher up, maybe at the House of Mountain. Hey, you guys need to do. We need more, a more diverse comic range because our investors say that the more diverse we are, we'll hit more markets.
Which totally makes sense. But then when you do when you hit the diversity with someone like Miles Morales or Kamala Khan or whatever, those feel like real characters. Whereas these just feel like
caricatures.
Kamala Khan is a fleshed out character. Miles Morales is a character.
Well, the other thing is with Miles, if you look at both Kamala and Miles, they both stepped into shoes of a previously established hero. Miles is a little different though, because Miles came in the Ultimate Universe. So Miles, technically, for most fans, unless you were obsessed with the Ultimate Spider-Man run, he wasn't taking over for Peter. Really, he was taking over for Peter over there in the Ultimate Universe, but Peter Parker still existed. Kamala took over after Carol got the rights back to be Captain Marvel, because DC was we'll just call him Shazam.
And that brings up the other thing, where it's a lot of Marvel's current super interesting characters that I think they've really succeeded in, nailing that diversity with, are unfortunately for the characters, versions of pre-existing characters, which I think it's totally cool that they are, opening the doors up and like reinventing, previous characters in that way. But I also think that all of these underrepresented, race, gender, whatever, deserve fresh, original characters of their own as well.
Well, the thing is, like, the representation and, like, the legacy of Marvel versus, like, them dealing with the corporate aspect from the movies. Because, like, you look at one of the most beloved two characters of, like, that initial all new, all different Marvel when everybody's saying they were getting to SJW. You had Sam Wilson Cap, and you had Jane Foster Thor. Like, two organically, like, driven stories in which these characters came about. Natural progression. They assumed the legacy of these long-standing characters. Yes, you had a black male take over for a straight white male as Captain America. Not in my America, said some, and everybody else was like, no, that makes total sense. Like, Cap and Falcon have been friends for decades.
Yeah.
Jane took up.
Plus, like, you really want, like, Captain America's best friend, who for a little while was brainwashed by Russians and neo-Nazis and possibly killed JFK, and, like, it makes more sense for Falcon.
And Bucky already had his run, so it's not like they didn't already try that. And Jane took over for Odinson, and they kept it a mystery for a while, and that run was fantastic. The issue is
clearly both of these things hit it off well for the majority of people. Now they're both happening in movies.
But the problem was the movies were going on, so at some point you knew those characters were going to end.
Yeah.
You knew James was going to put down the hammer, and Sam was going to hand over the shield. It just depends on how organically it was done. I wasn't reading Captain America during that time, so I don't know how well it worked for Sam to give it up. But I know Aaron in the Thor run, John's already mocking me behind his phone, I know it. Jane hands over the hammer in a graceful way by completely destroying the hammer, so, like, that was worth it. But, like, then you had some other characters like Ironheart showing up and stuff like that, who were kind of just, like, out of nowhere, like, I don't want to use the word Mary Sue because it's not fair, but, like, they weren't introduced as well as, like, a newer character like Kamala was introduced. Or, like, Jane and Sam's roles were switched. You had Bendis coming in there and being like, here's my new character, you have to pay me if anybody else uses her. And it was some stuff like that that didn't land as well, that really made fans angry, which I don't think they paid enough attention to with this new Warriors push.
You know who they did well with, though? The new Hawkeye.
Which new Hawkeye?
I mean, Clint Barton's replacement. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, like, but the thing was, like, they did Kate years before they did any of these other guys.
Exactly. I just, it was my opening to push Kate. That's all.
That's true. But, like, I mean, that's another one. Like, Kate stepped up to be Hawkeye, and, like, you had this teenage girl filling the role of this asshole, kind of.
Dead asshole.
He was dead, and then Wanda brought him back, and then he was like, I'm gonna go be a ninja, because that makes sense.
Yep. He's Clint.
Wouldn't you be a ninja?
I mean, I don't know if that falls under cultural appropriation or not, but, like, I don't know.
I mean, I've seen that God, who was in that? Tom Cruise, right?
But The Last Samurai?
Yeah, that's the one.
Did I send you that meme, by the way?
Yes, I think I did. I don't remember what it said, but I know I saw it.
It was when all the soldiers are riding up to the final battle, and Tom Cruise is sitting on the side of the samurai, and one of them goes, "You fucking weeb."
That just makes me think of the Moon Knight Dracula thing.
That one was good.
Where's my fucking check?
Nerd.
Usually they make it Dracula, but I like that one about it being like, "Where's my damn check?"
So speaking of Dracula and vampires and incurable diseases,
Did you
Morbius dropped the second trailer.
Did
Wait,
they?
what? Second trailer?
Well, I'm sorry, the first trailer, where at the end they revealed. I don't know why I thought that was the second trailer. First trailer,
No, that was the
big
first.
reveal at the end.
It's just that March and April have been like 72 years, so I get your mind being a little foggy.
How long have I been in the ice?
I watched that yesterday.
But I like that one.
What was the last Marvel movie I watched?
Fred, you still haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, have you?
What was the last Marvel movie that came out?
And
Far
Spider-Man.
From
That was it. That was the last one I watched.
But yeah, Morbius apparently is set in the MCU because it references, Spider-Man as a criminal now, and we got Michael Keaton showing up,
Plus,
Jared
there's
Leto
also
with his new
the,
cult that didn't know that coronavirus was a thing because they were out in the desert for 40 days or something.
what's the kid who plays Flash has that Instagram account that they act as if it's in the MCU.
Oh,
And
yeah.
There's a reference to Morbius in one of his more recent posts.
Yeah, he mentions a vampire or something.
And I can't
Which
wait.
means if Morbius is this ancillary MCU thing, then Venom, I'm sure, is as well, which I still haven't seen.
Yeah.
Oh, that
And
was not
if
good.
Venom is, and that means that as far as the multiverse that exists within the MCU is, then Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse would probably also be part of that, because isn't that Venom's credit scene is like, meanwhile in another universe, blah blah blah, and it shows Spider-Verse stuff?
I don't know if that one really counts, though. I feel like that was just a marketing push.
Yeah.
And, like a post-credit scene.
But at the very least, Venom, like if Morbius is coming along, then I'm sure Venom is coming with it.
Yeah. I'm sure this has something to do with the behind-the-scenes deal struck between Disney and Sony over
Right.
when the
To
Spider-Man
get Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man
So
3, and then
if
what?
they're-
Two other films?
So Spider-Man 3 and a Spider-Man appearance in a non-Spider-Man film. So like another Avengers or something like that.
Young Avengers.
I would imagine, like Young Avengers would make sense with a lot of the characters they're setting up.
A lot of the rumors about Ant-Man 3 are going to have, like, this setup for the Young Avengers. It's going to be a big point as Cassie wants to...
You could use Spider-Man, Cassie, Kate,
Stature, Hawkeye, Iron Lad.
A, Iron Lad, never. B, are we suggesting that we might get Stature in the MCU? Because I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
want
they aged
Stature
Cassie up,
in
so...
the MCU. I just want more Ant-Man, man. Like, when the hell are we going to... When are they going to announce the third?
It's announced because the writer has been confirmed and Peyton Reed shared all of that information. So that's like it's official. They just don't have a release date attached yet.
Look.
Um,
Hold up. WandaVision might suggest the fact that they have kids in an alternate reality. Does that mean we might get Wiccan and
Yeah.
Sweet?
They showed
I
Then
mean,
make
I'm
the Young
sure
Avengers?
WandaVerse is going to do that. WandaVision. I'm so excited for WandaVision. That's still my most anticipated thing.
They showed the twins.
Give me my buddy cops.
Preview.
So, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I just learned that one of my favorite editors is editing that series. It's cool.
I'm so excited for that one.
My girl Kelly Dixon from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Like, I don't care about, like, Loki or Scarlet Vision with WandaVision. I don't know. I just... Man...
So, WandaVision is just straight up my jam with, like, the retro TV style and the super weird stuff that it's delving into. Like, that is so neat. So excited for that.
We have a new Widow date.
Yeah, we have a new date for everything except Black Panther 2. That's the only one that held its date. And Spider-Man 3 probably will, but that's on Sony to announce that one.
Black Widow's November now, right?
November 6th.
Yeah, everything basically shifted. So Black Widow took Eternals date, Eternals took Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi took Doctor Strange, Strange took Thor, and Thor pushed to the following year.
Does anybody actually care about the Eternals?
Tom does.
I mean, I just want to see them go full Kirby again. It worked in Ragnarok, and I hope they pull it off again.
It's gonna be a no from me.
I'll see it. But, like, I'm not going to be out there night one being like, oh boy, I love Icarus.
I have zero context for Eternals. I like when they try to do some weirder Zack Kirby things, so I like a lot of the cast, so I'm looking forward to it.
Zack Kirby? I'm not familiar
Jack
with him. It sounded like you said Zack.
It did.
It's Jack.
Okay. I was thinking, oh my god, Zack Kirby. I'm a real big fan of Jack Snyder.
I'm going home. I can't do this anymore.
Tom, you are home.
I'm going home.
Oh boy.
And when they announced that slate, they also announced Captain Marvel 2, which we knew was coming, but they gave it a date now.
But no.
My big hope with the Phase 4 slate, because I'm still pretty bummed about the Scott Derrickson departing from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but Raimi is great with him attached. I hope he gets the time now to really make it his own. I want to see some weird horror stuff, if he's allowed to do that, which who knows, because it seems like that was the big point of conflict with Derrickson.
But Raimi might have just the right amount of experience with both superhero and horror, where he'll
Yeah.
I'm Derrickson probably. I imagine he maybe dived a little too much into it.
Yeah, which is something that I would absolutely want to see, but I get Disney, being Disney and saying no to that.
They can't I'm sure they'll make a lot of money if all the more adult audience goes and sees it, but they probably want that hard PG-13 and
Yeah.
nothing else.
Give me some Shumagora. I just really want some Shumagora.
Bless you. I don't know
Thank
what
you.
it is.
Shumagora,
Space
if
Monster.
you've ever played Marvel vs. Capcom, for some reason
Nope.
Capcom is obsessed with him and puts him in there all the time. But it's this big, Lovecraftian tentacle monster thing. It's like an eyeball with a lot of tentacles, basically.
Oh, okay, so Tom's Sven.
Yeah, basically. And,
Tom's just looking for a Doctor Strange hentai movie. It's all set.
and I really hope they put Nightmare as well, who's one of my favorite Strange villains. And it's someone that Derrickson had been hyping up for a long time.
Aren't the current rumors that Nightmare's going to be one of the villains, and then we're also getting Brother Voodoo, Clea, I believe her name is. I'm not very.
Clea. So Clea came more in the 70s Strange, which I haven't read a ton of, but she's Dormammu's. It comes from the Dark Dimension, and she's an interesting character. I don't know much about Brother Voodoo, but they would both absolutely fit. And then Nightmare is one. Nightmare was actually the villain in the very first Strange issue that Lee and Ditko did. And Nightmare, there's actually even been rumors that Nightmare might be partially pulling the strings behind WandaVision, because it's kind of like a Freddy Krueger-esque scenario where he invades people's dreams. And with some of the weird, dreamlike, surreal stuff going on in WandaVision, I can totally see that being relevant. Especially because WandaVision is supposed to segue directly into the Strange sequel. How about a couple nights ago, Taika Waititi did a Thor Ragnarok viewing party, and he showed off some Meek concept art. I don't know if it's real or not, if it was a joke that he was doing, but the very female Meek that he was showing off.
Because at first it's he also did the script leak with Tony being
Yep.
back, and the Avenger or years.
But I really hope that Meek art is real. Like, that's
I have a feeling
hilarious.
the art is probably real. I would imagine the art, but not the script.
Knowing
of course not
Taika,
the
who
script.
knows?
And if that is true and Meek is just walking around in women's clothes for some reason, I hope it's never even acknowledged. Like, don't comment on it. Like, it's just a thing that Meek does, and it's just how he is.
I mean, it could also just be that Korg never bothered to learn Meek's gender and just tells everyone that Meek is a guy, and the whole time Meek has been a girl. Because there's that whole bit in Ragnarok where he's like, "What's that stuff coming out of you? Is that like eggs or protoplasm?"
Korg and Meek are the best.
Oh man, I'm interested to see. I still can't believe of all the films that they've announced officially, with the exception of Ant-Man 3, I'm most excited for a goddamn Thor. That's the universal karma has come back to bite me in the ass when they were like, "Oh, Thor Ragnarok," and I was like, "Yeah, right. That'll be the day I'm excited for a fucking Thor movie."
It's so funny too, looking back at the original Thor Ragnarok announcement, and you look at the original title font they used, and it's like this dark, edgy looking thing, and then Taika gets announced, and it changes. It does this complete 180 in tone in what the movie actually wound up being.
I didn't like Ragnarok too much the first time I saw it, but it has grown on me exponentially every time I watch it.
Yeah.
Guardians 2, not so much.
See, I love Guardians 2. That one to me feels like the most heartfelt and personal film to me.
I don't know. Guardians 1 and 2 to me, they don't. 2 was they cranked it, I don't know. It's almost like too much of a good thing. Where it's like, okay, this stuff really worked well in Guardians 1. Mainly the humor. And then 2, they were like, alright, just, let's put 8 more tablespoons of this in there.
I like 2 better than 1.
And then, it kind of takes away from the other.
What else? And then, so we also know Panther is coming with Ryan Coogler back to direct. Captain Marvel 2 is coming, but we don't know who's directing that one yet.
Well, I mean, and on the other side of the movie aisle, Wonder Woman got delayed.
Yep.
Harley Quinn
is
out. Yeah, Harley Quinn is out digitally, right?
Did anyone watch Birds of Prey?
You know what? I was thinking about renting it. I saw it on one of the services the other night, and it was of all the movies that have had this effect where their theater runs were cut short. For whatever reason, I'm pretty sure Harley Quinn was a lot of these movies are $20 to rent, and Harley Quinn I think was $6. That's probably not a good sign.
Well, that one did have 2 or 3 weeks, whereas a lot of these $20 ones got cut off in their first or second weekend.
Yeah, but alright, so I just pulled up my movies anywhere. So it's Trolls, $20 to rent. Excuse me. Hold on, let me see. Bloodshot, it says $19.99. I'm not sure if that's to rent or to purchase. No, that's to buy. Wow, shit. Yeah, so.
I'm curious.
All right, here's a good one. Invisible Man is $20 to rent, I think, unless.
Yeah, and I think Invisible Man and Birds of Prey came out either the same weekend or a weekend apart from each other.
Yeah, Invisible Man is $20 to rent, and then it's Birds of Prey. Which I might rent it and give it a watch, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious just because I really, really did not like Suicide Squad, but I'm very much looking forward to the Suicide Squad. So I do want to just check that out, even if it's just, in prep for what's coming. So the Batman, its whole production shut down. Obviously, the Marvel movies that are filming currently, the production shut down. Wonder
Which right
Woman
now
is
is
the
just
only...
what? The Eternals?
Eternals and Shang-Chi had started.
Right.
I am
after that.
dying
And-
for Shang-Chi.
You're excited for Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Any particular reason? Like, I mean, I don't know much about the character.
I just am looking forward to the actor. I think he's going to be the new Chris Evans,
Yeah.
and I'm excited.
If you follow Sumulu on Twitter, he's hilarious. And
I really hope they use this as an opportunity to get Iron Fist. Or do something with him. Something good, please.
The whole thing just strikes me as a good take on what Iron Fist could have been. I hope in the first... Here's the thing. Iron Fist even shied away from having a dragon in it. This is going to go... Like, they flat out confirmed the Mandarin is the villain. So that means we're almost certainly going to be getting Fit Fang Food.
Just make him his sidekick or something, please. I just want Iron Fist.
Maybe in the sequel, like how Doctor Strange is getting Wanda, maybe he'll just...
Shang-Chi and Iron Fist. Please. Just a crumb.
Just a crumb.
Isn't, I might be wrong here, but isn't, like, Disney gets the rights to those Netflix characters back next year, right?
If I remember correctly, I think the way it works is 3 years after their final. So they would be getting,
So what you're
Daredevil,
saying is Iron Fist is first.
Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage would be the year before Jessica Jones' Punisher.
Let's see. Vamp while I look this up.
What else?
You know what Disney should worry about? Which show Disney should worry about bringing back? Cloak and Dagger.
What's that?
Cloak and Dagger.
I still haven't started that.
It's so good. Like, unexpectedly good.
So,
Did you end up...
Sorry,
Wait,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
What, John? I was just going to say, Amanda, did you end up watching the Cloak and Dagger Runaways crossover yet?
Only one of them. I'm saving the last one because that's the last I get of Tandy and Ty.
Fair enough. And John, you were saying?
So I found an infographic, very useful, that shows when they get everybody back. So Marvel gets the rights for Daredevil this year.
Okay.
So they get, like you said, Tom, you nailed it. They get Daredevil in November. They get Luke Cage in October. They get Iron Fist in October, and they get Jessica Jones and Punisher in February of next year.
Okay. And then whether they straight up reboot those characters or pull from the Netflix versions, who knows?
I feel like they should keep the actors
Yep.
and like reboot or soft reboot or something, because
Whatever they do, I definitely don't think they're going to make the Netflix stuff required viewing in the way that the Disney Plus shows are going to be required viewing.
Yeah. Like Bernthal does an incredible job as Punisher. Like, I honestly don't think anyone could nail it as
Agreed.
well as he does.
I love when Bernthal just randomly pops up places. Like, I watched Ford v Ferrari a few nights ago, and I had no idea Bernthal was in it.
And like Mike Coulter is like, you know, he's good. He's not like a big, very well known actor, but I think he does the Luke Cage character a lot of justice. Same with Christian Ritter, I'd argue, is a little bigger. Same with God, I'm blanking on his name here.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, Finn Jones was in that one show that disappointed everybody. What was that one called? Oh yeah, Iron Fist.
What show?
Oh,
I haven't
Game of
heard of it.
Thrones. How could I forget about Game of Thrones? Oh boy. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I'd hope they bring some of them back. I guess the guy who played Harold Meacham, I don't know, from Iron Fist, gave like an interview and he talked a little bit about what the season 3 of Iron Fist was going to be like had it not been canceled, and he described it as like a cowboy movie in China where Danny Rand and Harold Meacham are going around China trying to figure out the secret of the other Iron Fist while dispensing Western justice or something like that. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. I'm disappointed we'll never get.
This has been another Corona side chat from us here at the Comics Brew and Chew podcast. Another episode of Chewing the Fat. Hopefully this one I don't lose, which would be nice. But yeah, until then, I don't know. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Get plastered because you probably don't have to go to work tomorrow. Like, I don't know. Just say bye to the people.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. I'm sure there'll be another one of these.